This is at Kutztown Kingdom Hall, Jehovah's Witnesses. About 5 years after being molested, I was in this Kingdom Hall. I was here at a Saturday night meeting, either a circuit overseer or a Bethel speaker in New York. And I was standing in the rear of the hall against the rear of the last row of chairs. In walks my molester. I was just in shock. As he entered the auditorium, my body instinctively just went back as far as it could against the last row of chairs. He comes toward me. He stops. These streets of terror on my face. There's a aisle up the middle, two smaller ones from the side. The sides turn and go down the far side. And for that I'm grateful. Otherwise I'm quite sure I would have freaked out and just jumped over the seats to get away from them. In Mountain City, Tennessee, when I was 16 years old. I was a member of the congregation. You're never supposed to turn down an assignment. An assignment is given to you. I was assigned to read the Watchtower magazine. When Molester was conducting the Watchtower, we were meeting in his basement in Mountain City, Tennessee, basement of the home. And I had to read the Watchtower after he conducted it, each paragraph, and it was this emotional trauma, being 2 feet away from him, and just having to act like nothing happened between us. In Tennessee, when I had to read the Watchtower to be close proximity to him, and the Kingdom Hall was in the basement in Mountain City, I remember going home in the car and complaining to my family that my eye would twitch. It was twitching from, I don't know what caused it, but my left eye was twitching. And I remember Mom turning her head around and laughing and just saying, "Oh," she says, "that's just your nerves." When my molester called me up the other year, he encouraged me. He encouraged me to read the older publications that I had taken from my sister visiting her. And one book I did have is the Finished Mystery, a helping hand for Bible students. And in here is an interesting comment I come across on page 60. This is like supposed to be the posthumous book of Charles Page Russell. On page 60 it says, William Miller in the year 1829 was privileged to see approximately the correct date for the setting up of the domination of desolation, 539 AD, and for the beginning of the time of the end, 1799 AD. So this mention of William Miller is the first mention and only mention I know of in the Watchtower publications that identify this Watchtower Society with the William Miller movement when he proclaimed the world, I believe, in 1844. There's really nothing in here concerning child abuse or healing from child abuse. The faithful and discreet slave class allowed my molester to be an elder for over 30 years. So why was my molester still permitted to be an elder Christian congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses 7 years after the 1997 Watchtower claimed that child molesters that were known in the congregation were not given privileges. Why? As I walked out the Kingdom Hall there in 1974, the conclusion of that committee meeting in Tennessee, I just thought in my head, if I had been disfellowshipped, I would not have been able to speak to a relative, which I had a lot of regard for, still do. I was living in Pennsylvania. I was a witness, and I would not be able to speak to him anymore. 20 years later, I'm sitting at that same relative at a picnic table around 1993, maybe 1994. And my relative was telling me he was on vacation, and he decided to go to a Kingdom Hall on a Sunday. And he says, guess who was conducting the watchtower lesson? Why, it was, his name was my molester. And immediately my whole body freezes. It's like it froze in 1965. I was in the bathroom with my molester. And just dead silence for so long. I didn't know what to say. The whole body was frozen. And after I wrote the governing body, they never answered my questions in writing. So since that time, 2005, I have a couple more questions. My religious theology teaches that since 1918, the ones that had the heavenly hope are ruling Jesus Christ in heaven. So, Pastor Charles Hayes Russell died in 1916. Since 1918, he's been ruling up in heaven. He saw what's going on here in the Christian congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses. Why couldn't he keep me and my molester apart years later, instead of having us stuck together in the same congregation? Judge, the Honorable Joseph Franklin Rutherford is in heaven since 1942 or whenever he died. Why couldn't the great Judge Rutherford keep me and my molester apart in the congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses? I like those answers.